Okay, before Donald Trump now speaking, sorry, we're going to get back to the panel. Let's go now to the Westgate Resort and Casino here in Las Vegas. Donald Trump spending the eve of this big GOP debate on the campaign stump tonight, again in Las Vegas, not at the Trump Tower at his own property here, but at the Westgate. There you see him entering the stage now. Of course, the big applause. And, of course, Donald Trump, always interesting when he speaks live in his interviews, and he will tell you, I don't use a teleprompter, very rarely use notes. The only time I really used it is when I wanted to talk about my plan when it comes to how do we deal with Muslims, as he said, and to fight terrorism in this country. So let's listen to Donald Trump this evening here in Las Vegas. Here we go.
This is really beautiful, fantastic. What a crowd. What a crowd. Well, I want to thank everybody. You know, we have a big night tomorrow night. Is anybody thinking about it? It's going to be good. We've had so many good things happen over the last 5-month period. It's been actually amazing. The people of this country are absolutely incredible people, and I am honored to be with you tonight. It's like this all over the place. We're going to take our country back, folks. We're going to take it back. We're taking our country back. It's gone on too long, too many mistakes, too many stupid people telling us what we're supposed to be doing. We're going to be taking it back, and we're taking it back soon. We can't put up with it any longer. You see what happens. The Iran deal, incompetent. Anything you look, now I hear Bergdahl, no jail time for Bergdahl. I mean, no jail time. We have a man there who left. He's a traitor. He left. 5 people killed looking for him. And what happens? Like, for years, he's been under the same thing. And I hear there's not going to be jail time. It's incredible. You know, 50 years ago, what would have happened? Boom. 25 years ago, probably the same thing, but it would have taken longer. 10 years ago, jail time. 5 years ago, a couple of years. Now he's going to get nothing. He's going to get nothing. Well, I'll tell you what, I'm just thinking of it now for the first time. If I get in, we will review his case, I promise you. And you know what? Statute of limitations, we'll be reviewing Hillary Clinton's case, too. I can tell you. We will review that. You know, before I go too far, I've made some great friends. And, you know, I announced and I talked about illegal immigration. There was a huge firestorm. Everyone went crazy. Oh, illegal immigration. It wasn't even something that people were going to talk about. And then all of a sudden they started saying, you know, maybe Trump is right. But I went through 2 weeks. It was unbelievable. And, I mean, it was really incredible. I didn't mind it. You know, it's like called life because I'm telling the truth. I don't mind when you're saying something that's correct. And this country needs to get away from political correctness. It's killing us. It's killing us. It is absolutely killing us. And I announced we talked about what's happening at the border. We talked about the illegals pouring in. And all of a sudden, people started seeing lots of crime, and they started really seeing it. It was focused because it was like a magnifying glass. And we had beautiful Kate in San Francisco who was killed and shot 5 times. And then we had so many others. We had the woman a few weeks ago in California, raped, sodomized, 66-year-old veteran, raped, sodomized, and killed by an illegal immigrant. We have much, much crime, so much all over the place. And a friend of mine, I see him backstage with a group from Remembrance families. You know Remembrance, right? These are people whose families have been devastated by people that weren't supposed to be in our country. People that came here, were forced here by countries that are smarter. And I want to just bring, they're friends of mine, and in particular, somebody I've really gotten to know well, and he's a special man. Could the Remembrance families come up? And this is Jamil Shaw. Come on up. And get the families up. Come on up. Come on up. I saw him backstage. We were going to say hello, and I said,
Right.
come on up and say a few words. These are incredible people. What?
All right, Donald Trump doing some congratulations and thank yous and getting started, not getting into the bulk of his speech right now. We're going to take a quick break, come back live with Donald Trump in just a minute.
Young man.
Let me know. Okay, back now live. We're continuing following this. Donald Trump speaking. His guests are up on stage now. Some of the guests he introduced up on stage speaking now. Also, Donald Trump being disrupted by some protesters there, at least the event. Let's listen.
And we have to stand with him because he's standing for America and trust in him like I do.
We're going to listen in for a little bit because he's going to. There we go.
These are amazing people. They're amazing families. What they're going through, you cannot imagine, for no reason whatsoever. Just incompetent people. They allow these people to come into our country. It's a disgrace. It's a disgrace. Okay. So today we had a lot of news, and it was all good. It never gets reported properly by these people back here. Look at all those press. Well, you know, I've learned two things more than anything else: how smart the people are and how bad and dishonest the press is, because it is really dishonest. It is really, really dishonest. So we had a lot of polls coming out today, and they were really good. That's right. You're my man. That's right. So we had a Monmouth poll, very highly respected. Trump, 41. Cruz, 14. And everyone else much lower. I mean, somewhere. So I heard today, when they announced the poll, 41 to 14, and I like Cruz, good guy. But I heard, here's how they announced: Cruz surging. So when I heard this was on television, Cruz surging, so I said, oh, I don't know, that sounds bad to me. Coming up, Cruz surging. Then they say the Monmouth poll was just done. Cruz is surging. Trump 41, Cruz 14. I said, wait a minute, what's going on? I tell you what, they are the most dishonest people. Then, you know about CNN. CNN came out just recently, 36 to 16. Gravis poll, highly respected, 42 to 16 to 12 to 11. So then today, it was very interesting because I did have one poll in Iowa, which I never expect to get. I can't stand the paper. It's a horrible paper. Des Moines Register, it's terrible. You know, of course I would never say they do this, but they have a very small sample. If they take about 10 votes and put them in their pocket, you understand that. So Des Moines Register was 21-31. All of a sudden, it was like the biggest story I've ever seen. Okay? That was just Iowa. Don't worry about it. It's Iowa. We love Iowa, but I think we're doing great in Iowa. And I expect to win Iowa. We think we're going to do great in Iowa. I get by far the biggest crowds. And okay. So then we had a CNN poll. So CNN today was talking about a poll that wasn't theirs. And I kept saying, why don't they talk about a poll that's theirs? So they just did this poll. It's a new poll. CNN in Iowa, Trump 33, Cruz 20, and then everyone else much lower. So we actually sent a couple of emails, started to tweet a little bit. You know, the Twitter's great when you have between 5 and 10 and 13. We have so many people. We have millions. So we started to tweet. We said, why is CNN not playing their poll? It's their poll. So if anybody has an idea, please let me know before the evening ends. Then we had a Fox News poll, which was a pretty good poll. It was pretty much tied. Then we had Quinnipiac. And Quinnipiac was 28 Trump, 27 Cruz. In other words, we won. They call it a tie. They say it was tie. Okay. I mean, sort of what? You know the bottom line? I think we're going to win Iowa. I think we're going to win New Hampshire big. I think that, frankly, if we win Iowa...
Donald Trump saying he's going to win Iowa, he's going to win New Hampshire big, also criticizing the media, something shouldn't be a surprise. He does that all the time. But again, Donald Trump speaking live now in Las Vegas. We're going to continue on with Donald Trump right after a very quick break. Don't go anywhere. And we are back, 11 p.m. on the East Coast, 8 p.m. here at the Venetian Las Vegas. Donald Trump also speaking in Las Vegas nearby at the Westgate Resort. Let's listen.
They couldn't care less. They don't care. Believe me. And that's what's sick about the system. And frankly, 6 months ago, I was on the other side. I was like the fair-haired boy. I gave $350,000 to the Republican Governors Association. I was on the other side. I was like establishment. Can you believe it? Now I'm a politician. I hate the term. I'm a politician. I'll never be a politician. I don't want to be a politician. Don't want to be a politician. They had one case where a super PAC, for a nice guy, he's a nice guy, so I'm not going to mention his name, but it was on the front page of the Los Angeles Times. A super PAC raised $6 million. By the time everybody took their slice and their cut, they were left with $140,000 for the campaign. Think of it. Now, that's a pretty good business. You guys ought to try it sometime. Pretty good. And you wonder, how come they're losing money? How come they're out of money? Why are they complaining? They're going to leave the campaign. Because you have to see the money that's being made. You have to see the money that's being made by people raising money. It's insane. It's better than being a real estate broker. I want to tell you that, folks. You can do this and you can retire after one campaign. It is a disgrace what's happening with money. It's a disgrace what's happening with influence. And we're going to end it, folks. We're going to end it. We're going to end it. So when I started the quest, remember the famous escalator ride, right? Coming down. We're waving. But I made a decision. I said, look, you know, it takes guts to run for president. It really does. I never did this stuff before. And it takes guts. But I know what can happen. And by the way, not just because I'm doing well, more importantly, because I've gotten to know so many people. We have such incredible people in this country. It's amazing. It's amazing. And I said to my wife, I said, you know, look at that. It was in Trump Tower in New York. You have never seen, look at all the press back there now, but you have never seen so many reporters and cameras, and you couldn't breathe in the building. And I said, you know what? We got to do it. Just too many mistakes. Let's do it. And I took a deep breath at the top of that escalator. In fact, if you see it, they probably have tapes of maybe they don't want to show that. Too nice. They don't want to show. They only want to show bad stuff. But you know what? I took a deep breath. I said, let's go. And we went down, and I talked about illegal immigration. And I brought out a lot of things that would have never been discussed. And we're going to have a border. We're going to build a wall, and Mexico is going to pay for the wall. They're going to pay for the wall. Now, a lot of the people that are running against me, they say, oh, well, Mexico will never do that. Why would they do that? Because they're politicians. They have no idea. They don't know business. They don't know business. Look, Mexico, I love Mexico, just so you understand. I love the Mexican people. I have thousands that have worked for me over the years. They're fantastic people. But their leaders, right? Do we love Mexico? We love Mexico. I agree. But their leaders are too smart for our leaders. Because our leaders, not so good, folks, okay? They're too smart, they're too sharp, they're too cunning. What's happening at the border is horrible. What's happening with trade? I mean, we have Ford building plants in Mexico. We have Nabisco moving from Chicago, their big factory, into Mexico. They'll make Oreos. Think of it. No more Oreos for us, right? No more. Somebody served me Oreos the other day, first time in my life. I said, I'm not eating Oreos anymore. But they left Chicago. They left Chicago, and they're going to be moving a big plant into Mexico. Tennessee, a great state. They thought they had it made with this car company. All of a sudden, at the last moment, the car company announced they're going to Mexico. It's out of control. It's out of control. So Mexico is beating us at the border. They're beating us at trade. Now, here's the story. Mexico is we have a trade imbalance. We have an imbalance with Mexico of over $40 billion a year. And that doesn't include drugs. The drugs, you can probably double it. Who the hell knows? That's free of drugs. But the drugs pour across. Now, we have no wall. And when we do have a wall, it's a little toy, like built by Barron Trump, okay? It's a little toy. Did you ever see the picture, pretty famous picture, where they have a wall and they built a ramp on each side of the wall and they drive trucks over loaded up with drugs. They drive it right over the ramp. That's not a Trump wall, folks. This is a big building. See that ceiling? That ceiling is much lower than my wall. Believe me, we have a real wall. We have a real wall. And I know how to build it. And I know how to get them to pay for it. It's very simple. Folks, you're killing us. You're making too much money. Now, the wall's going to cost $9 billion, okay? A lot of money. The Great Wall of China is 13,000 miles long. That was built 2,000 years ago, right? We say we can't build a wall. You know, a lot of the people that are opposed to the wall now wanted to build it 14, 15 years ago. And you know, one of the reasons they couldn't build it is they couldn't get an approved environmental income. Can you imagine this? They couldn't get environmental impact statements approved. They couldn't get them. There was a snake in the way. There was a turtle in the way. There was a toad in the way. There was a snail in the way. No, they couldn't get it. Just like when I said, knock out the oil, right? I've been saying that. Knock out the oil. One of the reasons they didn't want to knock out the oil, take it away from ISIS, take away their money, a big part of it, although they get a lot of money from a lot of other things like banking. We'll talk about that. But one of the reasons they didn't want to knock out the oil, they didn't want to hurt the environment. This is serious. They didn't want the fumes going into the atmosphere. And then we're supposed to win. What do you think General Patton would say? I mean, he was a brutal guy that liked one word. It was called winning. So what do you think General George Patton would have said if the president said, listen, don't hurt anybody, let's nice and easy. We don't want to put any pollutant in the air. Don't forget, he'd say, you're fired. Now, can you imagine? Now, we have the General Pattons, and we have General MacArthur. We have great generals, potentially, in our midst. I mean, they go to Annapolis, they go to West Point, they go to Air Force Academy. These are great people. We have great people. But probably the best ones are kept down. We lost a good general 2 years ago because he was foul-mouthed. He spoke with bad language. He was great. The men, you know who I'm talking. We know. He was a good general. Everybody loved him. His men loved him. Everybody loved him. And look what happened to him. Then we lost another one, Petraeus. He got because of emails and because of giving stuff. And yet Hillary did 20 times more, and she's just fine, right? She's just fine. So we're going to find the right people. And I will tell you this. For 5 months, I did nothing but speak about how China is ripping us off, about how Japan is ripping us off with the cars, thousands and thousands of cars pouring in. I was in Los Angeles. I mean, these boats are massive. The ships, they're massive. Cars pouring in. Looks like the Long Island Expressway. The cars just coming off the... We give them practically nothing. I mean, you look at the imbalance, happens to be about $70 billion, okay, a year, and you say, what's happening? We have all the power. We have all the strength. Mexico, I told you, it's both. I mean, Mexico's going to become the car capital of the world soon, the way they're going. They're taking our business. They're doing everything. And in addition, they kill us at the border. That's going to end. It's all going to end. It's all going to end. Believe me. And I'll tell you something. It's going to end, and they're going to like us better than they like us now. They don't have any respect for us. China, it's going to end. And yet China, look what they're doing. South China Sea. They're building this incredible fortress in the middle of I mean, can you believe it? We could never do that because it wouldn't pass environmental standards. Can you believe this? We are so lost. We are so lost as a country. Today I read, I mean, maybe it's not true, but I think it's a legitimate publication. I mean, these guys, I don't consider too many of them very good, but it was amazing. Look at that cameras. Those cameras never move. They won't show this crowd of people. But no, it's true. It's true. They never move. Don't worry, they won't move. But did you see when you had that protester over there? Boom, those cameras, they were bent like a pretzel looking, trying to find them. They are the worst. They are the worst. So, thank you. That's very nice. You're the best also. You know what? We're all the best. Together, we're going to be the best. We're going to be the best. Look, we're going to make our military so strong, so powerful, so incredible, we are never going to have to use it. It's going to be brought back up to date. It's in such bad shape. A general left 2 months ago, a very nice guy, Ordiano. He said we're the most unprepared. I actually think he said from the beginning, but let's not, because there's so many cameras on there. He said for many, many decades, we're the most unprepared that he's ever seen us or heard about it. Can you imagine? And this is a time when we have to be the most prepared. So we're going to, number one, we're going to make our military so strong, so powerful, so great. We're going to take care of our veterans. Our veterans are being decimated. Decimated. You know, somebody wrote recently, they said, Trump's a really good speaker, but the one problem he has, he speaks right through the applause. And you know why I do that? Because I'm so excited. I mean, I love what we're going to do together. I can't wait. It's true. No, I love what we're going to do together. We have so many great people, so many incredible people, so many smart people. They get it. I mean, how the hell do I get 41 and 42%. Again, this is against 15 people, by the way. This isn't against 2 people. By the way, you know, Gravis at 42, and the big one today, Monmouth, came out at 41. Let me just tell you, if that were against 3 people, I'd be happy, because that would mean I won, pretty much, right? But this is 15 people we have that. A couple have left. A lot are going to start leaving. Which is nice. It would be nice to have some more time to talk. It's so many people. There's so many people, and many of them don't have a chance. You say, what are you doing? Just go home and relax. Go home and relax. So, and by the way, some really good people. I have to tell you, on the stage, you really do. You have some great people. I've gotten friendly with some of them, and they really are outstanding. I won't tell you the names of the ones I think are good, because I want you to not even think about it. But you have some people that are excellent, some really good people. This guy, that's funny. This guy screams out, low energy, Mr. Trump. They're low energy. No. Well, a couple of them are low energy. By the way, Hillary's low energy, okay? She's low energy, in all fairness. I've said about Hillary, she doesn't have the strength and she doesn't have the stamina to be president. She doesn't. She doesn't. And the last person she wants to run against, you know, the Fox poll had me winning. Nobody talks about that. They find one word. The Fox poll has me winning. They never report it. They hardly reported a Fox. But the Fox poll has me beating Hillary pretty easily. But you know, it's interesting. You ever notice? She'll go out. Everything is so scripted, even her words. Donald Trump has a harsh tone. And I'm saying to myself, then you turn on the news, you see they're cutting people's heads off in Syria because they're Christians. They're doing, and other reasons, and frankly, any other thing they want. They're drowning people in steel cages, and she's saying Donald Trump has a harsh tone. Well, I don't like his temperament. Oh, that's fine. Look, we've got to get smart. We're not going to have a country left. But did you ever notice with Hillary? It's sort of an amazing thing. She puts on her pantsuit in the morning. She gets up. No, nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong. There's nothing. You like my hair? I like that guy. He said, "I love your hair, Trump." It's mine. It's the nicest thing he could have told me. It's actually mine, sort of interested. It's mine. People now all believe it. I mean, through this, be awful tough to get away with phony hair, right? After what but anyway. But, so Hillary, she gets up and she goes and does a meeting and she's have like 3 or 4 people. It doesn't do this. First of all, she can't draw crowds like this. She can't draw. She'll get 200 or 300 people. I won't mention names, but a couple of the candidates last night, one had 51 people, they counted it. One had 153. We have, 4,000 or 5,000 people here. It's like packed.
Donald Trump in his element. You can see he loves this. He's eating it up. The crowd's eating it up as well. We'll continue on right after a quick break. All right, we're continuing on live here in Las Vegas. You see Donald Trump there speaking. He's still speaking live, but we're going to analyze some of this, and then we'll get back to him. We'll continue to monitor it. Joining me now is Hugh Hewitt, the panelist for tomorrow night's debate, and also with me, Republican strategist Mr. Kevin Madden, who has worked for Mitt Romney's campaign, among others. Where do we start?
Well, I'll start with the fact that CNN just showed 16 minutes of very good television.
Yeah.
Television that was watchable. Kevin and I were just talking. I've never seen a presidential candidate receive 16 minutes of watchable airtime for free. And Kevin, repeat your comment about what you have to do to get that.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, I mean, first of all, it's hundreds of thousands of dollars of value right there. But, Jeb Bush put together, and his super PAC put together like a 13-minute documentary that they wanted to use to show who Jeb Bush was and why he ought to be president to voters that had not learned about him. No one's going to see that 13 minutes as much as the people who watched for 16 minutes.
Right.
Donald Trump talking in an unfiltered, unvarnished way directly to the people in that crowd, but at the same time, almost talk directly to all the people watching at home.
Yeah, he's
and if we're looking at why Donald Trump's up and why Jeb Bush has not, broken through in this election cycle, this sort of offers us a really telling educational glimpse into where the campaign is at right now.
You cannot take that away from him. As you said, he is a master. You talked about the great communicator, right? Ronald Reagan. He is a master at this. I just want to go through in the beginning, because in the beginning, as the tribute families were coming out, it sounded like there was some interruption. He does not allow that at his events, right? He is in control in every single way at these events.
But it didn't make it into the screen. And what I heard him do, which I thought was art, actually, is he touched the zones of a lot of people. When he ran through the endangered species that prohibited the fence, he's talking to every single person who's ever dealt with an environmental regulatory authority in their life. When he talked about General McChrystal being fired because of the Rolling Stone, I think that was the illusion. When he talked about General Petraeus in reference back, there was real art in there. And I keep going back to the fact he did 11 seasons of reality television. So he has more practice in front of this machine than any other person in the race, and it showed tonight. He is a master of his craft.
Yeah, and we must remember, too, part of the reason he's getting this is because we're on the eve of the big debate tomorrow night. He is in Las Vegas. Smart move, giving a big a speech tonight in Las Vegas. The question is, why wasn't it at the Trump Resort and Casino, or the Trump Hotel?
I have no idea.
Yeah.
That's a good question.
Yeah. Yeah.
But to your
nobody
larger
else speaking tonight.
To your larger point, and this almost happens after every single debate, the other campaigns that don't get enough time tomorrow night are going to be complaining that they didn't get enough time. Donald Trump will have dominated the news coverage of this debate, not only the day of, but the day before and the day after.
Yeah.
And that is one of the biggest problems that all these other campaigns, or I should say one of the big challenges all these other campaigns have with Donald Trump in this race, is that he is the one who's doing all the talking, and he is the one that's setting the tone for the not only issue conversation we have, but just how much coverage that the race actually gets.
And I wonder if he's even killed the traditional bump that an Iowa caucus winner gets. So if Ted Cruz is in fact ahead and does win Iowa, does he get the bump? Because that's media attention. The media coverage might be bare.
Yeah. So I was having this with this conversation with a Democratic strategist tonight who said, complaining about the media coverage of Donald Trump, and I said, listen, and that Bernie Sanders and it doesn't get as much coverage. I said, well, Hillary Clinton is the front runner. If Hillary Clinton offered as many speeches and as many interviews as Donald Trump, the media would take it. She does not. Donald Trump is also not safe. So all of the people that who are talking about things like income inequality, gender equality, and all those things, as I'm going through preparation for tomorrow, I'll give you share a little bit of a secret. With the conversations happening across the country on social media, and we're getting updated today, none of those things are registering. The things that are registering, religion, right. Security, homeland security, ISIS, immigration, guns, all of the things that Donald Trump is talking about, those are the things that are registering. So the things that some of the people are talking about on the Democratic side, it's not even, the American people are not really discussing them. It's not.
Don't you have to agree? He is authentic. That is authentically Donald Trump. That is 100% pure, unadulterated Donald Trump.
Yeah, but he knows what he's doing. He knows that he has picked up on something. Whether you agree with him, whether you believe it, whatever it is, he knows his audience, and he is working that audience.
Yeah, and I think people are also, look, I also would say that there's zero substance to what he's saying, but you also have to remember that what's driving voter anxiety right now, or voter anger, is this idea of a Washington that is out of touch with people's real concerns, and that anxiety that
but isn't
they
it
have.
fear as well?
Also, there is fear in there, yes. But also this idea of this just the status quo, that if we keep electing folks like Hillary Clinton, who have been career politicians for the last 20 to 30 years, and keep rewarding them for these very scripted, guarded conversations and events that they have all around the country, that nothing's going to change. And so you see in the essence of what Donald Trump did tonight was him talking directly to voters, unvarnished, unscripted, in a way that it does resonate.
He's invented a term, low energy. Now, that's been around for a long time, but it is now a killer term to have applied and stick to you. And he did it to Hillary tonight, and he brought up pantsuit, which evoked a laugh from everyone. That's not politically correct. Gosh, does that cut through the noise?
The other thing, too, just real quick, he also likes these sort of clash of civilizations, and one thing he wants right now is this idea of not only taking on establishment politicians. How many times did he point to the media and call the media and criticize the media and say that the media is not doing a good service to the American public? And how many times did that get a crowd reaction? So it's not just other politicians.
But he also knows that when he bringing the tribute families on early, right? He said, before I get too far into this, there are lots of people I want to thank. Again, this is all strategy. All knows what he's doing. At least it appears, because he's getting so much attention. And the other folks not speaking tonight. Maybe it was a mistake on the
You sat down with him a week ago.
Yes,
and
I did.
He engaged you on Don Lemon ground, on Don Lemon authenticity, and it was wonderful, watchable television. What other candidate has said, Don, come to my office and spend 30 minutes with me and ask me anything you want? Has anyone extended that invite to you?
No, except for Donald Trump.
Case closed.
Stay with us, everyone, both of you. When we come back, we've got a lot more to talk about.